Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I am going to take you through landscape month results. You will be aware that I was away for quite a lot of August. I'll leave a link here to what I packed for when I was away, and if you've watched that already, you'll see that I don't have quite the number of sketchbooks and whatnots that I thought I would have here. Part of that is because my future mother-in-law had some stuff for me and she asked me to leave stuff at my dad's to make space for what she had. And since I didn't really need it, I did that. So I'm left with this to show you today. Don't worry, you'll see other stuff in future sketchbook tools, I'm sure. So landscape month. Let's start with this one. This was the notes on a landscape sketchbook that I talked about in my August video, but definitely in my what I packed video. So I used it for capturing notes on a landscape. Which is kind of what I talked about in the video about my September plans. This is kind of the technique that I was trying to practice with pencil, capturing. So it's a bit of that, and it's a bit of Emma Carlisle notes on a landscape sessions in her Patreon. Thinking about different ways to capture what was in front of me. It was quite a foresty area. And this was, you may have already seen this one in a video by the time this one comes out, which I used to create a gouache painting. This was just snippets on a train journey from Norfolk to Kent. We had to take several trains. So I just tried to capture snippets as we went. This was the area in Kent where we spent some time. I had to sit and just take in the view while David did some research. So again, that same, I thought I had more in here. No, so that's it for this. So it's nice it's a very small sketchbook, and it's handy to take out and about and keep notes in. Then we have my Fabriano Venezia sketchbook, which I've had for a while now. But this is one that I've used on and off since I think I got it in Porto last September. So I've used it then to play around with. This was in November. I really like this page, but I tried recently to play with these Mungio. They're water-based oil pastels, and I haven't been able to achieve anything similar. So the thing that I did in here was another class. I'm a fan of paying to learn. I don't think we can just rely on everything being free in life. And if there's something you want to learn, then you should pay to access it. And that's what I did with this Hockney online drawing class with the London Drawing Group. So it was taught by Francis Stanfield. So Francis had us do various exercises, which you can see here, timed exercises to do the landscape, and here as well. And it was inspired by Hockney, and I really enjoyed it. I think it came through in this is interesting because you see these trees falling over. The gouache painting I did had this kind of tree shape with the thing falling down the side. It's amazing how you can be influenced without realizing. Isn't that bizarre? But I really like this, looking for patterns, exaggeration. So I really enjoyed that. I think it was like an hour and a half recorded. I've lost access now. You only get access for 14 days. Then this is the other sketchbook that I took with me. So initially this was supposed to just be illustration style pages, but what I found is I actually left one of the sketchbooks at Tangello at my dad's without thinking. Then we went off and did all the travels, and I only had this sketchbook with me and this one because it was so small and easy and compact. I could carry these around while we were exploring, which is frustrating because man, I didn't use my really good paper sketchbook. But it's fine. You can see that this one's actually quite used now. So I'm going to skip the bits that aren't relevant and head straight for landscapey stuff. So this was at a beach in Norfolk. I happen to know this child playing, but it's not very exciting. This was at the back of the lodge where we were staying. This was another situation. I was traveling on a train to Birmingham, so capturing snippets of what I saw, like a fence and a barn. And I'm not going to show you everything in the sketchbook. You can see that I've skipped pages because there's a lot of people in it as well, and I don't think that's very exciting when we're talking about landscape month. Okay, this was technically not landscape. It's a building in a landscape, but it was the chimney stack that caught my attention. This was in Faversham in Kent, and technically it's a landscape. It's got some trees. You can see this is the notes on a landscape, capturing like the shadows, the shapes, that kind of thing. This is not a landscape, it's an urban scape, I guess. Urban landscape of Sheerness in Sea in Kent. Okay, this is from a photo I took in Wales using Neocolors. I want to say it was Neocolors. It looks like Neocolors. I'm pretty sure it's Neocolor 1 and 2 combination. I love the colours, but clearly I'm drawn to certain colours. I think a truck is coming, so I'm going to pause for a second. Well, that's infuriating. It's the recycling van, and they're supposed to come in the evening. So no recycling for us today. This is, oh, I already told you this. I really love this. I love the vibrancy of the colors. Very, very, very exciting to me. And it's very basic, but I really like the color palette. This, can't remember what this was. This may be from a photo that I put on YouTube. I feel like it might have been a zoom in on a photo from YouTube. If it is, I'll pop it on screen now so you can understand what it was. I think this was late at night and I was trying to get some art in, and I think it's Neocolor ones and maybe pencil. This was Kent. This is a little bit of the sand area. Tree was taken near a church. There was benches in a church and David was exploring the church and I took some time. This is gouache and pencil, in case I didn't mention that. I can tell from the color palette. This was using that as a guide. So this is my guide. You know, I think I've mentioned before I did a Sarah van Dongen workshop, November, not last year, maybe the year before, in Amsterdam. And one of the exercises was to do it once and then do it from that, which is what I've done here using gouache and watercolor pencil. And I like, obviously this first version is better in terms of color palette and I think also technique, but I like the shadow elements here. Quite dramatic, and I like the texture of the watercolor pencil. It looks better on camera than in real life, to be fair. I'm not sure. Oh, I think this is when I was planning the initial plan for the one that I did on, gosh, I think it was like the last video or the one before when I showed you the gouache process. This was me kind of thinking it out. Didn't do a very good job, but you know. This was another one from Kent. This one was from a photo taken at the same, so I did, gosh, I gotta find it. This one there, but I took lots of photos and this was from one of the photos. I quite like that. That looks better on camera actually than in real life. Maybe I just need to work the values harder when I'm working on something. This was experimenting with color pencils. I shouldn't have put the house there. I don't know why I did, because there was a house in the actual image, but you can see the texture of the line. So I was playing with color pencils using my blend up tool and just trying to experiment and learn. This one is this one, so that's it in Neocolor 2s. Maybe a little bit of oil pastel, I'm not sure. No, I think it's Neocolor 2 and Neocolor 1, I'm certain of that. And that became this in gouache, which I really like. I actually really like the color palette of that one as well. I need to make notes. Maybe I'll watch this back after I've edited it and work out, you can hear my cat doing her kneading now, and work out what it is about these different things that I'm really liking. This one you will have seen. So, because I've mentioned this, but I didn't actually get it into the last video. When I showed this to David, he was like, whoa. I said, what? Thinking he was, because he often criticizes my work. Not in a mean way, but he's always a bit like, oh, especially if I do drawings or paintings of him. And he said, his words to me, I'm air quoting, you can't see it, but his words were, the 10,000 hours that you spent learning have paid off. He said, this is really cool. You should carefully remove it and put it in a frame. I was like, are you joking? I was like, are you having a laugh? Because, you know, I'm used to him not being so positive about the work that I show him. And I don't know if that's made me like it a bit more. I definitely learned something from this. I learned that when I think about composition, it comes well. I learned that I really like this kind of like playful, so the shadow is normal, the shadow is normal, the shadow is normal. This was like falling off the hill, way too big. And I like that kind of like slightly playful aspect. I really don't like the forest section, but David says don't paint over it and leave it. I think the color palette, I think it's really flat, and others have said folk arty. So there's something about it I love, but I'm not quite sure what it is yet. But I do feel like something clicked with this. And then I didn't work on the back page because David was like, don't do that. And this is another version of Wales, but using the Mungyo oil pastels. This is acrylic marker on top. Let me show you. So that was based on, it wasn't based on, but one of the first pages I did in here was this, completely made up from my head using the Mungyo oil pastels that are water soluble. And I wanted to see what would happen if I used them in this sketchbook. And that's where I ended up. I didn't push it as far as I could have, mostly because it was late at night. And then I didn't like what had happened with the sky, so I went in with acrylic marker, and then it was too late and I was like, I'm done. This was a Tombow version of this. I was like, let me try it with brush pens. No, it's ghastly. And then, oh, we're into September, so you can have a sneak peek of that. That was a building in the landscape as well. So that's it. That's my August landscape month done. I've just given a love for landscape, I think. I think it's helped working on, we did tree month in June, we did nature in July, and then landscape in August. And I think the three combined have really helped me to really appreciate landscape. September is buildings, and that could be buildings like urban buildings, it could be buildings in the landscape, it could be building details, architectural details. And I find so far, because I am recording this at the beginning of September, I have found myself leaning towards landscapes that have buildings in, which is interesting. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Please do give it a thumbs up if you made it this far. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, I recently hit 4,000 subscribers, which is stunning to me. Yeah, it's kind of astonished me. But I'd love to see you here if you want to stick around, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Take care. Bye.